The entire office went silent when the woman in the expensive designer dress pointed at the janitor and laughed. She had no idea that the man standing in a faded uniform, holding a mop in his hands, was about to become the most powerful person in the building. And within a few days, she would be standing in front of him, not as his superior, but as an employee asking for a second chance. It was a cold Monday morning in Chicago, Illinois, when 29-year-old Hannah Brooks walked through the glass doors of Sterling Heights Corporation. Hannah was beautiful, ambitious, and confident. She had recently been promoted to assistant marketing director, and she believed the promotion proved that she was destined for a much bigger life. Her designer handbag rested on her arm. Her heels echoed across the marble floor, and everyone seemed to notice when she entered the room. But Hannah had one weakness that she didn't recognize in herself. She judged people by what they appeared to have. Near the elevator stood a quiet janitor named Marcus Bennett. He was in his late 40s, with tired eyes, a worn blue uniform, and hands roughened by years of hard work. He carefully wiped the floor while employees rushed around him. When Hannah stepped out of the elevator, Marcus politely moved aside so she could pass. She barely looked at him. Then she noticed a small stain near her shoe and angrily told him to clean it. Marcus calmly nodded and began wiping it away. A few young employees nearby laughed when Hannah complained about the floor. Feeling embarrassed, she turned her frustration toward Marcus. She mocked his uniform, questioned why he was always in everyone's way, and made a cruel comment about people who were born to clean up after successful people. The room became uncomfortably quiet. Marcus stopped for a moment, looked at her, and simply lowered his eyes. He didn't argue. He didn't insult her back. He quietly finished his work. If you believe people deserve kindness, second chances, and respect no matter what they wear or how much money they have, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change a person's entire life. What Hannah didn't know was that Marcus Bennett wasn't an ordinary janitor. For nearly 20 years, Marcus had worked in the technology industry. He had started a small software company with his younger brother, Caleb, when he was only 26. Their company created security software that eventually became extremely valuable. But after Caleb died unexpectedly, Marcus walked away from the business. He couldn't bear to continue without the brother who had been his closest friend. He sold most of his shares, placed the money into investments, and disappeared from the business world. Years later, Marcus secretly purchased a controlling interest in Sterling Heights Corporation. The company had been struggling financially, and he wanted to understand why. Instead of walking into the company as its new owner, he decided to spend several weeks working as a janitor. He wanted to see how employees treated people who had no power over them. Every morning, Marcus arrived before sunrise. He cleaned offices, emptied trash cans, repaired broken equipment, and quietly watched the people around him. Some employees ignored him. Others treated him kindly. But Hannah was different. She seemed to believe that success gave her permission to look down on others. Still, Marcus noticed something else about her. One evening, long after most employees had gone home, Marcus saw Hannah sitting alone in the conference room. Her confident expression had disappeared. She was staring at an email on her laptop with tears in her eyes. Her mother was seriously ill, and Hannah had been secretly struggling to pay for her medical treatment. Marcus didn't interrupt her. He simply left a cup of coffee outside the door and walked away. The next morning, Hannah found it and assumed another employee had left it. She never knew it was Marcus. Weeks passed, and Sterling Heights announced an emergency company meeting. Rumors spread that a new CEO had purchased the company. Employees were nervous because nobody knew who the mysterious owner was. Hannah arrived at the meeting wearing her most expensive outfit. She expected to meet an older businessman in a tailored suit. Instead, when the doors opened, Marcus walked into the conference room. The room froze. He wasn't wearing his janitor's uniform anymore. He wore a simple black suit, but his expression was exactly the same, calm, quiet, and serious. The chairman stood and announced that Marcus Bennett was now the company's new CEO and majority owner. Hannah felt the blood drain from her face. She remembered every cruel word she had spoken to him. Marcus looked around the room and explained that he had spent weeks working among them because he wanted to understand the company from the bottom up. He said the company's biggest problem wasn't money, technology, or competition. It was the way some people treated those they believed were beneath them. Then he looked directly at Hannah. She expected him to fire her. Instead, Marcus told everyone that a person's character was revealed most clearly by how they treated someone who couldn't offer them anything in return. Hannah stood with tears filling her eyes. She apologized in front of everyone. She admitted that she had judged Marcus because of his uniform and that she had been arrogant, selfish, and cruel. She expected the apology to be rejected. But Marcus simply told her that an apology meant nothing unless it was followed by change. He didn't fire Hannah. Instead, he gave her a choice. She could resign and walk away, or she could stay, accept a lower position, and spend the next year proving that she had learned something. Hannah chose to stay. For the first time in her life, she stopped trying to impress powerful people and started noticing ordinary ones. She learned the names of security guards. She thanked cleaners. She helped employees who were struggling. She even began volunteering at a local community center on weekends. Months later, something unexpected happened. Hannah's mother's medical bills had become overwhelming, and Hannah was close to losing everything. She arrived at work one morning and found an envelope on her desk containing a letter saying that an anonymous donor had covered the remaining treatment costs. She immediately knew who it was. She walked into Marcus's office with tears in her eyes. Marcus told her that he hadn't helped her because he wanted her gratitude. He helped because everyone deserved a second chance when they were willing to become better. A year later, Hannah was promoted again, not because of her expensive clothes or social status, but because she had become one of the most compassionate leaders in the company. One evening, she saw Marcus walking through the lobby in his old janitor's uniform. He had put it on for a company charity event. Hannah smiled and thanked him. Marcus smiled back and reminded her that the uniform had never made him poor. It had only made it easier for people to reveal who they truly were. And Hannah finally understood the lesson that changed her life forever. Sometimes the person you look down on today may be the person who teaches you tomorrow what true success really means. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories with meaningful lessons. And before the story ends, comment, "Kindness always wins," if you believe every person deserves dignity, respect, and a second chance. Because in the end, Marcus didn't become powerful because he became a CEO. He was powerful long before that. He simply had the courage to remain kind when the world gave him every reason not to be.